Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial, we'll continue with our C++ series. We'll be looking at infinite or while loops. Okay, so what a loop is said to be an infinite loop when it never stops. This can be achieved by giving it a certain condition that will never evaluate to false. Okay, so for example, if you specify a boolean value true, then this while loop will continuously the condition will continuously be true, and the code will always be ran. So you can just pass in a boolean statement or a boolean value that will always be true, and then you have an infinite loop. So that's what infinite loop is all about. So for example, you want to create a guessing game, right? A guessing game that will continuously ask the user for an infinite amount of times for a certain word. As long as he doesn't get the word, you just want to continue asking him until maybe you create a statement that will break that loop. Okay, that's what we're going to be doing in this tutorial. So I have created a simple C++ structure program over here, so we can just begin. So for example, to do a simple while loop, I'll just say while. I'll continue to ask the user for his name. While I can pass in here one is the boolean value for true, or I can pass in actually true, because true, the condition will always be true, right? Or I can pass in a boolean statement that will always evaluate to 1 equals to 1. So 1 equals to 1, like this is always be true, so the statement will always be executed. But what most people do is just pass in 1 like this, or they pass in true just like this. So let's just pass in 1 in our case. So we can just say, while this, we just ask the user for his name. So sorry, type in your name, and then like this, and then we'll continuously greet the user. So just say I'll store that name somewhere, so cin. I'll just create a string in a moment here, so I'll just include and then I'll include the string library so that we can use the string here. So I'll just create a variable, call it a string, give it a name type string, and then the value to be identifier should be name. So I'll just say cout, and then hello, and then we'll also output the name, and then we can end that line. So for an infinite amount of times, we're going to ask the user for his name, and we just say hi, the person's name, for an infinite amount of times, because this condition will always be true. So I'll just bring this over here, and I'll try to make this big so that you guys can see. So here I'll type in maybe James, and then ask hello James. I'll type in again James. It will continue asking me for James, and then the program will continuously execute, because we're in a loop that never ends. Okay, we're in an infinite loop, so this continue happening till an infinite amount of times. Okay, so while working with while loops, be very careful. You can run into an infinite while loops without even noticing, so be careful whenever you're working with while loops. So one way you can, whenever you're working with while loops, you will be discussing a break statement and continue statements. This will help you to check for certain condition, and if the condition is true, you can then be able to jump out of a while loop. So for now, just have the basic idea of this is what a while loops is all about, and every code that is put between under the while loop block between these two parentheses will continuously get executed for an infinite amount of times. Okay, so let's create a simple game. So just say user underscore input. We're going to create a guessing game where we will ask the user to input a certain number, a certain word. Let's say word. We can just say maybe tattoo. So as long as the input is not tattoo, we'll continuously ask the user. Okay, so we just say guess. So we'll store that in user inputs. Okay, we call it user input, and then so we'll get the value, and then we'll see out to a user for a certain guess, and then we'll store that guess in the user input. So we'll check if the user input is the word that we want. If it's true, we'll just see out, say yes. You just say you won. Okay, can give some exclamation marks there, and then we can end that line. Okay, so that's all I wanted our program to do. So what this program does is that it for an infinite amount of times, it will ask the user to guess a certain word, and we'll store that word in user input. So if the word is actually the word that we have in our game, right, that we know, if it's true, we'll just print we'll just print out on the screen, you won, and then the program continuously execute because at this point, if the user wins, we want to stop asking the user for a certain guess what, right? So to do this, we can just use the break. In the previous tutorial, when we were discussing switch, we looked at breaks, and we said that breaks are just used to jump out of loops, and that previously we said is just used to jump out of a switch statement, but in this case it will be used to jump out of the infinite loop. It will just say stop at this point. So this is what our program is all about. So we create this so that's all our program is going to be doing. So let's save, and then we can execute the program to see what we get. So I'll just bring my terminal over here, and then I'll make this big. Okay, so here I can guess let's say TA, and then I'm wrong, TA, I'm wrong, TAO, TOP, whatever, this gibberish, I'm wrong, and it continually asks me as long as I'm wrong. So but if I type in the right word, we can see we get you won, and then we jumped out of the infinite loop. Okay, so that's the one we can jump out of an infinite loop is checking for certain condition, and if the certain condition is true, we'll use the break keyword to jump out of the infinite loop. So in the coming tutorials, we'll look at break statements, the break keyword and the continue keyword in details. But for now, this is what how we can jump out of an infinite loop by checking for a certain condition. If the condition is met, then you can break out of that loop. If the condition isn't met, then you continue running the infinite loop for an infinite amount of time. So I hope it made sense to you. So this is all I wanted to talk to you guys about in this tutorial. It's very important that we understand infinite loops. So this is the end of this tutorial. So please, I ask you to help support my channel. One way you can do that is simply liking this video and hitting the subscribe button. It really helps me and encourages me to keep making these videos. So in the next tutorial, we'll begin looking at for loops. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.